Every radio frequency has an owner, a call sign, a registered transmitter, a signal source somewhere above ground. But in late 2011, researchers monitoring seismic activity in southern Utah intercepted a signal that didn't match anything. No origin, no source, just one repeating transmission, a faint, rhythmic tone, coming from below the surface. The transmission was first detected by a graduate intern named Eli Garner, working the night shift at the Western Geological Observatory. He logged it as subsurface audio disturbance number 47. At first, the team assumed it was equipment interference. But when they replayed the signal the next morning, it was still there, identical, unchanged. It didn't match any seismic wave. Not tectonic, not mechanical, not man-made. In fact, it behaved more like a heartbeat. Eli's supervisor, Dr. Harlan, instructed him to cross-check the frequencies against nearby communications networks. No matches. But when they triangulated the source, the result made no sense. The coordinates placed it 200 meters beneath the old Redvale Mining Site, a location that had been sealed for over 40 years after a collapse buried 5 workers alive. There was no electricity there. No active transmitters. No reason for anything to be broadcasting. The team archived the file under anomaly, but 2 nights later, Eli noticed something new. The signal had changed. There was modulation, now subtle shifts in frequency, like someone trying to form words. And beneath the static, a pattern began to emerge. Every 43 seconds, a brief pause, followed by 3 low tones, then a whisper. "Can you hear me?" The team thought it was a prank, maybe a pirate broadcast bleeding into their seismic data. But Eli swore he heard breathing between the words. Breathing that didn't belong to anyone in the room. When they recorded the transmission and played it back the next morning, the signal was still identical down to the millisecond, which shouldn't have been possible. Radio interference changes, seismic noise shifts, but this was looping perfectly, as if someone or something was replaying it for them. Later analysis revealed something even stranger. The signal didn't just come from underground. It was being broadcast upward. And the strength of the signal wasn't weakening over time. It was getting louder. By the 3rd night, Eli wasn't sleeping. Every time he closed his eyes, he could still hear it, the 3 tones, the whisper, and the rhythmic pulse that felt less like sound and more like something alive. He decided to trace the signal manually, not by coordinates, but by intensity. Each time he adjusted the antenna array, the signal grew sharper, until he realized the source wasn't miles away anymore. It was directly beneath their building. The observatory had been built on the edge of the same mining system that collapsed decades ago. The underground tunnels ran for miles. Some never mapped. No one had gone down there in years. Against orders, Eli and 2 colleagues, Marta and Harlan, brought portable receivers and descended into the sealed access shaft behind the observatory. They told no one. The deeper they went, the stronger the signal became. Every 43 seconds, "Can you hear me?" Marta's voice echoed nervously off the walls. "It's louder here. Are you sure this isn't bouncing from a relay tower?" Eli's reply was firm. No relay could cut through this much rock. The radio hissed, and a new voice, clearer this time, whispered through the static. "Don't dig." They stopped. Marta swore she heard it too. A clear voice, male, calm, and close. They pressed on. Around the next corner, they reached a blocked shaft, a caved-in tunnel filled with stone and rusted machinery. But the signal was strongest here. So strong, their receivers began to overload. Harlan scanned the rocks with his spectrometer and found something impossible. There was a power source buried inside the collapsed tunnel, one still active. Marta was baffled, but how? There's no generator, no wiring. Before she could finish, their radios all cut to black. Then, for the first time since the signal began, it stopped. In that moment, the air shifted. The cave walls seemed to vibrate, not from movement, but from something resonating inside them. Their flashlights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. But then, a faint glow emerged from between the cracks in the stone. A slow, pulsing light, synchronized with a deep bass thump. They realized then the signal wasn't coming through the ground. It was coming from asterisk within asterisk it. Eli whispered in terror, "It's responding to us." What happened next was never recorded on their main loggers, but Eli's handheld camera survived, recovered weeks later in the observatory debris. The footage shows what appears to be the tunnel wall breathing. The stone surface expands and contracts faintly, dust rising off it with each motion. The screen cuts out there for 11 full seconds. When it comes back, only Eli is visible, covered in dust, alone. His radio plays one final message, the same voice, calm and hollow. "Now you can hear us." The following morning, a security team entered the Redvale tunnels after the observatory went silent. They found the elevator jammed halfway down. The lower levels were unstable, collapsed in several places. There was no sign of Marta or Dr. Harlan, only Eli Garner's body cam, still running. The last timestamp reads 3:42 a.m., just before the observatory's power failed. Investigators later confirmed something chilling. The signal was still broadcasting, even after the facility was destroyed. But the pattern had changed. Instead of 3 short bursts, it now played 5. And when converted to an audio spectrum, the signal formed a shape, a human silhouette, standing beneath a waveform that looked like the mine itself. Government teams sealed the site within 48 hours. The incident report labeled it as equipment malfunction and localized sinkhole collapse, but internal logs leaked months later tell a different story. They claimed the source of the transmission couldn't be neutralized. Every attempt to cut the signal line failed because there was no physical transmitter. The ground itself had become one. Geologists proposed an impossible theory, that the mine collapse had trapped pockets of magnetic ore that somehow amplified residual electrical signals. But others, the ones who heard the voice firsthand, said it was more than that. They believed something ancient beneath the mine had been awakened by the excavation, something that could speak through vibration. 2 weeks later, the transmission reached public radio bands. Listeners across Utah, Nevada, and even parts of Colorado reported hearing strange rhythmic pulses interrupting late-night talk stations. A few claimed they heard a phrase hidden in the static, "Keep listening." The frequency was eventually jammed. But according to archive data, it re-emerged every few years, always under new coordinates, always moving east. Some researchers believe it's geological, others something else. Whatever it is, it's traveling. And with each reappearance, the phrase changes slightly. Last time in 2023, the message decoded as, "Now, you're below us." Today, that frequency is silent again. But if you ever tune your shortwave radio between 17 and 18 megahertz and hear 3 tones, a pause, and a whisper that sounds like your own voice, don't answer. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into the unknown, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that defy explanation. Until next time, stay curious.